3, 2, 1. Hello, my Richies, and welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Strategy Sessions here on the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. My name is Sarah. I'm your host. And in today's episode, we are taking care. Big occasions like the election that involves millions and millions of individuals that typically don't have to cohabitate together and make big decisions together can cause just absolute mayhem and uncertainty for at least half of the country. No matter the outcome, on either end, there is always a loser, and that loser can find themselves in a place of absolute disillusion, upset, fear, panic. Reality feels overwhelming. The future feels absolutely unfathomable and super scary. And then for the other half, the winners, they are feeling validated. They're feeling seen. They're feeling heard. They're feeling understood. They're kind of getting a little bit of redemption for whatever time or tumultuous thing they think they've been through the previous administration's time. And this seesaw effect, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And my feelings matter more than yours. Your feelings don't matter in comparison to mine. It's just like a give and take and a back and forth and an up and down that is exhausting. And if you're one of those individuals that found yourself really not fitting in anywhere this election, you are not alone. I think losing my father 5 years ago and the grief that has followed has really allowed me to feel, for my grievers out there, you understand when I say that I live in a totally different reality from any single other person around me. And so few things in life matter anymore. Although I can always work towards and pray for the best outcomes that are going to help and honor the most people and do the most amount of good, I'm not a magician, and neither are you. And the worry and the regret and the guilt and the upset that you expect your counterpart, the other half, the other team to have is kind of being given to you right now because there isn't really much of there's been a lot of gloating in the last few days. There's been a lot of I told you so's. There's been a lot of flagrant behavior that I can only hope and pray dials down quickly. Because at the end of the day, there is a root of humanity that we all have to come to an understanding on. And for me, grief was that tool that allowed me to get to that root really quickly, like within instantaneous seconds of my dad's last breath. And it was me getting down to the heart of the matter. Like when I have anxiety, my husband had helped me to kind of come up with this question and answer of, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? And then what would you do? And then what's the worst thing that could happen? And then what would you do? And it always kind of leads to me having to accept that the worst moment happened and now I have to do something about it. Or maybe I can't do anything about it, which is typically how life goes. So in this instance, and in this case of what can I do about it? What can you do about it if you're feeling unrequited right now in this whole election and its outcome? I like to look inward when I'm feeling out of control. I like to look inward and think of what I can do with my truest, most authentic efforts, with my heart worn on my sleeve. What can I do to make a change around me or to try just making a simple iota, 1% a day? How can I move the needle ahead positively? 1% a day, 1% a day. It's why I started the Sunday Strategy Session episodes, to give myself and those listening something to focus on for the week ahead that's going to get the needle moved 1%, whether it's in your life or your business. And this Sunday Strategy Session, I'm here to remind both myself and those listening that are in a place right now of you're just over it. You're just completely over it. And you know that the only true change you're going to see is the change that you create yourself. And although it can be a big pill to swallow and a heavy burden to bear, it just might be the reason you were put here. And leaning into that can feel really special and very freeing and very validating in a way that I think we're all looking for right now. We're all looking for the permission of autonomy over our decisions. And man, there's never been a better time to just dive headfirst into your purpose or into your passions if you haven't found your purpose yet. And get to that space where you know that you, with your personal life and everything that you've lived and done, has led up to a moment to where you now get to make an impact. Whether that be a small impact, 1% a day in your community, or even just your family, or whether that turns into a monumental impact that will change the world. You simply won't know until you start. I know that we're definitely all bed rotting, or at the very least taking into account what part we played in this past election, no matter what side you're on. And I, for one, am looking forward to the day where we can move as a unit, no matter how far off that seems. I am going to take my uncertainty and my fears and the things that I'm happy about that have happened throughout this election year and phase, because there have been a lot of really great changes and a lot of really great things put in place that should not be overshadowed. And I think it's those smaller wins that lead to larger victories. And I, for one, know that I am going to make as many small wins in my life for others that I can possibly even attempt to deliver. And I hope that you will too. And I hope this helps you to find some solace and strength and foundation in knowing that no matter what lies ahead, you have your back. And you have your back of your family, and you have the back of your community, and they have you too. And if that is all we have, my God, that's a beautiful place to start. Take care. I hope you greet tomorrow and the week ahead with a newfound purpose and a fire lit by passion to get out there and create the change you wish to see in this world. Both you and we deserve your efforts. And we are so, so eagerly awaiting to see what you do with your love and your purpose and your passion in the next 4 years to come. My Richies, as always, it is a pleasure, and I absolutely appreciate every second of your time. And as always, make life rich.